Greetings. Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast, the podcast that tries to be a pub and perhaps someday a pub that tries to be a podcast. And as always, we are looking for customers to come visit our bar. So you're passionate about something, you want to be on a podcast, or what we do nowadays is videos. Yeah, more like a video podcast. Is that a word? I don't know. But let us know, because this bar is all about community. My name is Joel. I'm here as the bar owner, so to speak, and I'm looking around. And my God, we have everyone here. It's our first real episode in like a month or two, in terms of a full complement of staff. I see Keri Simpson. Hi, Keri.
Hi.
I see
Hi.
Derek.
Copy
Beebe.
read for.
Oh God, yes.
Oh dear gods.
So for those who are listening, Keri, how would you describe Derek right now?
I don't know. I've been pretty much ignored Derek.
Yes, it's.
I don't know, frightening.
Yeah, he has this really kids Star Wars outfit on. Would that be accurate? As a X-wing pilot of some type. Looks like it's was made overseas. The costume, that is. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's.
You know that I bought this at Target for 90% off. I think it was like $1.50 to buy or something like that.
That explains so much.
Dear Lord.
I actually think it looks pretty good.
Cool bodysuit too.
No, you don't have to show us your legs, okay, Derek? Yes.
I didn't need to see that.
Does it have a trap door for the backside?
And
I didn't need to think about that, Randall.
Just so you know, Randall, it opens in the back.
Nice.
Yes.
In case you have to be a B-wing.
And that's the voice of Randal Graham, Dr. Randal Graham, author of Beforelife. Drink.
Afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. So, Randal, it's been a while. I know you're a busy man. You're writing, you're teaching, you're doing like important work in the world and stuff. But it's always good to have you on.
I don't know how important it is, but yeah, we're back in class now, and this is my busy term, so many apologies for not having been with you guys more. Obviously, I'd love to be around you guys as often as I can, and hopefully next term I'll be a little bit more free with my time.
Yeah, that's no problem. We understand. This podcast is about community, of course, so if anyone out there wants to come on, let me know, and we'll arrange it. And when we get people like Randall on, that's great, you know. You can vlog your book as much as you want. You know, Beforelife, drink.
Yeah, everyone has to drink.
I understand that you're at the sequel. You just had some news on that.
Yeah, the sequel is with the publisher and is going through the copy editing stages and cover selection and all that sort of stuff. But I've been given the green light by my publisher, ECW Press, to reveal the title of the next installment of the Beforelife series. Which will probably be another element in our drinking game going forward that you'll have to drink whenever I say the words Afterlife Crisis.
Okay, that's a shot. Afterlife Crisis, okay? So Beforelife is your regular drink. If it says Afterlife Crisis, then it's going to be a shot of some type. How's that, guys?
That sounds good to me.
Absolutely wonderful. Great.
I'm already hungover, Joel. I don't need shots at the moment.
Yeah.
Now tell me, Keri, is the reason for your hangover the fact that you were celebrating a particular special occasion related to this podcast?
No, not actually. The reason for my hangover is my dojo turned 14, and last night was the anniversary party, and there was lots and lots of drinking, and there was ouzo. And yeah, I just got home. I haven't been home since yesterday. So yeah.
Well done.
The hangover is not quite as bad as the post Sandan test hangover, but it's close.
Interesting. Yes.
But on the topic of anniversaries,
yes.
Is there anything you'd like to share with us, Noble Barkeep?
Well, yes.
That's you, Joel.
Yeah, that's me, yes. So it's our 50th episode of the SciFi Pubcast.
Hooray!
50! Yay! We made it. Most podcasts don't get beyond like 5 or 10 episodes. And it's like we did 50 regular episodes, and we've done a lot of sessional episodes and special event episodes. So we're still here. We're still having fun. We still have our little passion project and just not caring, just being ourselves. So,
hey. Cool.
Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I'm also hungover from last night. I was dragged to professional wrestling, local professional wrestling.
You were dragged,
Yeah,
kicking
yeah.
and screaming.
Yeah, basically at the Polish Legion, so it was cheap Polish beer. Yeah, terrible. So there's that. What else? Oh, last weekend I went for. I participated in 8 kilometers, so about a 5-mile bear run between craft beer breweries. So yes, yeah, Joe's life, working and drinking. It's terrible.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, yeah. What's new in your world, Keri?
Not much. Just training and more training and dojo party and I'm going to Disneyland on Tuesday. That'll be fun.
Excellent.
Cool.
Yeah.
I heard something.
And finally,
go ahead.
I'm finally going to see Galaxy's Edge.
Cool.
Yeah.
We expect.
You should dress like this for it.
What?
You should dress like this for it.
No. Besides, they won't let me into the park like that.
Yeah. Keri, we expect a full report if you could, please.
Oh, sure.
Right. So let's see, Derek. We haven't asked you how, because I really don't want to look at your video right now. But besides that, how's things been with you?
Pretty good. Work's been very, very crazy for undisclosed reasons, and my coworker's about to go on maternity leave, so I'll be working solo for a few months. But everything else is good.
Didn't you just go down south for a little trip?
Yeah, I think we've recorded since then. But yeah, I went to Universal Studios Florida. Got to ride on the new Hagrid's roller coaster, but we probably talked about that last time.
Yeah, okay. I thought you went someplace else.
But since then, I went on a second mini vacation. I went to Busch Gardens in Virginia, which I've never been to in my life, and that was pretty nice. It didn't have a lot of family coasters that I could go on. It was mostly mega coasters that you couldn't pay me $1 million to ride. Right. But it was a very nice park. It often gets voted the most beautiful park in America or the world or something like that. Okay. And I got to go to do one of the Halloween Horror Nights for the first time in many years, which was, amusing. Doesn't really scare me, but it's fun.
So you got an opportunity to wear your costume down there, I suppose.
This one? No.
Oh, okay. All right. How's our kitchen doing at the SciFi Pubcast?
It's pretty good. It's got a little dusty while I was gone, but I think that just adds to the flavor. And so for today's meal, I present to you. Well, you can't see it; they're just out of camera shot here. But they're called Kylo hens. It's a little Cornish game hen, and I'm calling it that because come December, Kylo's goose is going to be cooked.
Oh, right. Okay.
And we're absolutely sure about that.
Mm-hmm.
I would be shocked if Kylo Ren didn't die in this movie.
Okay, good. Great. Save that for another 2 minutes. Okay. We are going to be talking about the Rise of Skywalker. Just very quickly for housekeeping, as you can tell, we're experimenting with video. How we're doing it is if people come on and they want to be on video, great. If they just want to do audio, that's great too. So the audio will be well edited and sent out to all the different podcatchers out there. YouTube is me less edited because video doesn't lend itself for the same type of tight vocal conversation, but it's there, so you can find it on YouTube under the SciFi Pubcast. As for our bear recommendation, I did mention that I went on a bear marathon / run last weekend, and trust me, I'm still looking for my lungs, but my liver did very well.
Nice.
So I want to see our beer recommendation this week is Clean Cut by Beyond the Pale Brewery, which is located in Ottawa. It's Hittenberg, so it just is west of the city center of Ottawa. Definitely check it out, Clean Cut. It's a Kolsch style beer. It's 5% alcohol, and it's amazing. Try it, especially after running 8 kilometers, like 5 miles, which I survived. Okay. Today's topic. Are you guys ready for it?
Sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, we're changing our
so.
names to the Star Wars Pubcast. No, we're not. But
We are?
Really?
No. We're just speculating on the Rise of Skywalker, which is going to be coming out on December 20th, 2019. In reality, it's going to be in the theaters at December 19th. Tickets are on sale already. I got mine. I'm going at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on the 19th. So
I'm going at 9:30.
okay, cool.
Same
I'm
day.
going at Friday, and I got IMAX tickets. I'm going down to Philadelphia for it.
Okay, cool. That's amazing.
I haven't yet acquired my tickets, but I'll follow the usual pattern. And sometime in the opening week, my buddy Tom Telfer, who's another prof with me at the law school, we always buy VIP tickets and have a martini and watch Star Wars.
Yes, that's great. I usually hit the cinema bar and just basically have like 4 pints of beer before I walk in. But yeah, I can walk home, so that's always good. The Rise of Skywalker, the 9th film in the Star Wars saga, the last film of the 9, is directed by J.J. Abrams. So I think we know this guy's from a couple of different places, right?
Yeah, never heard of him.
Yeah, never heard. So just to let the folks know, we're going to be speculating a lot about what we think is going to be in the movie and what we want to happen in the movie. I have no inside information. I'm not sure. Derek, do you have any inside information being from the planets? I know, clipped off.
I have not been reading spoilers, so my only knowledge comes from the aired trailers. So any speculation I say will be solely based on officially released content.
Yeah, so in other words, if we spoil anything, we do it we're going to be guessing right, so it'll be by mistake. I know. Randall, have you been following out any of the spoilers on Reddit?
I have no inside information. In order to try my best to be a productive contributor today, I did rewatch The Last Jedi this morning, and then after that, rewatched all the trailers for The Rise of Skywalker, and I did watch one 6-minute fan theory video on YouTube where a fellow was pronouncing various theories, but I do think he was on meth, so that may not have been entirely accurate.
Was it the Australian guy, or there's a bunch of Americans as well who have to...
Well, having said he was on meth, I refuse to name names.
Fair enough.
I just prepared for today's episode by beating people with sticks for an hour.
Yeah, that works.
So that works.
Channeling your inner Ray.
Sure.
Okay, so guys, let's start with Randall, because it's been a while since we heard from Randall. Randall, what do you want from this new movie, The Rise of Skywalker?
My main want for this movie relates entirely to the director. I mean, I love J.J. Abrams. I'm a big fan of a lot of his work. But I guess when I'm talking about what I want from this movie is what I want to avoid in this movie. And the biggest finale of anything ever in history created by J.J. Abrams was the finale of Lost. And I found that conclusion very emotionally satisfying, but not rationally satisfying. The pieces for me didn't seem to fit together with everything that had led up to that finale. And so I'd really like this to be a finale driven by reason. One where an intuitive, clever person watching the prior 8 films could look at it and say, actually, yes, that ending makes perfect sense given everything that has led up to this point. I don't want anything to come out of complete left field, like, it was all a dream, or it was all in Bob Newhart's head, or anything like that. Like, I would really like this to be a rational tie-up. Yes, I want it to be emotionally satisfying. Yes, I want lots of action. Yes, I suspect that, like The Last Jedi, it will be visually gorgeous, and all of the shots will be tremendous. But I would really like it to be something that once we watch it, we will kick ourselves for the things we didn't see coming but could have seen coming. I love that sort of satisfactory ending. We're like, oh, the seeds were planted the whole time, and it really led inexorably up to this place that I didn't see, so there's some surprise, and there are some things that I did predict. I think I'm asking an awful lot.
The one thing I'd like to point out about that is, I may be wrong about this, but my understanding was that J.J. Abrams had almost no involvement with Lost after season 2. So at that point, it was Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse who were running the show. So I don't really think JJ had anything to do with the ending of Lost.
Yeah, I suspect that's true, and I had heard that before. And I just hope that this doesn't end the same way. I mean, I know a lot of people love the Lost ending, but that sort of emotionally satisfying, not really rationally satisfying is my big fear here. But yeah, that gives me good reason to be more confident than I otherwise would be.
Yeah,
but I'm excited for it.
I think people, I mean, I don't know whether this is true or not, but I think people mostly point the blame at Damon Lindelof for the way that Lost ended.
So I guess my hope is that he doesn't come within 10 miles of this finale.
Okay. No, right. He's been busy working on Watchmen, so.
Phew.
Okay, Keri,
Hey.
what's your expectation, or what do you want from this movie?
I've maybe it's just the martial arts in me, but I have learned to not have a whole lot of expectations about stuff, and I'm going in. I expect a good movie. Um, I'm hoping that it answers some of the questions that people have been asking me since TFA opened, because they think I'm the Star Wars expert and I should know these things, even though I know about as much as they do at this point. So yeah, I'm just hoping for a good movie that answers a few questions and basically finishes the story that it's taken 42 years to tell.
Fantastic. I like
Yeah.
that. And Derek, what's your wants for this movie?
I am hoping for, and I expect to get, a crowd-pleasing movie that will appeal to the vast majority of people, just like The Force Awakens. I don't think it's going to be controversial or off-putting the way that The Last Jedi was for some people. I think that they brought JJ in to, settle things down and make Star Wars universally popular again. Not that The Last Jedi wasn't popular and successful, but obviously there was a subset of people that were very, very not happy with it, and fandom has gotten a lot uglier since then.
You're talking like there's not going to be the quarter of people who are going to be offended no matter what happens.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I think, I mean, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I always thought that most people did like The Force Awakens. Obviously, there's the valid criticism that it wasn't original, that it was just rehashing things, but I think for the most part, the public enjoyed the movie. It, was one of the highest grossing movies of all time, and it reawoken Star Wars for a world, mostly America, and I think that's why they got JJ back, because they know that he's going to deliver the safe, middle of the road movie that everybody will love. I know he said in interviews that he's decided to be more daring and experimental in this one, but I don't know. I can't really see that.
So you're saying more lens flare?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can expect that.
Okay.
But flowing off of Derek's comments, one thing I would really hope for from this movie isn't something that comes out of the movie itself, but something that comes out of the fandom. I would really like it if people would just be really nice to Kelly Marie Tran after this movie comes out. Well, I couldn't believe some of the negativity around the second movie in the final trilogy.
Yeah, well,
Well, there's a lot of awful, racist, misogynistic people out there, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Do any of you guys listen to Freddie Prinze Jr.'s podcast at all?
No, I haven't.
Because he has basically laid down the theory that there are a lot of white guys out there who are just pissed off that the hero, that the one hero of the movie is black, and that Han Solo gave the keys to the Millennium Falcon to a girl.
Yeah.
So, that was supposed to be their ship, and it went to a girl instead. I'm like, yeah, okay, your point is valid, possibly.
So some people are awful theory.
Yes, some people are awful theory. So the fan entitlement syndrome is very prevalent.
Yeah. You know what?
And what are you hoping for, Joel?
You know what I want? I want a really cool bar scene, right? Okay, so I want everyone there with loud music. But the thing is, I want them all to be like Force ghosts, right? Bring back Obi-Wan and bring back Luke Skywalker. Oh, bring back Anakin Skywalker. Like that would be a great kind of a haunted house from Disney type bar scene.
Well, okay, I've had this. It's not a secret wish. I don't think it's not something I don't think is going to actually happen. But this, I really want the scene of all the Force ghosts just gathered around Kylo Ren, going, "Dude, you're screwing up." With Anakin Skywalker be there going, "Dude, this didn't work. I could tell you that this didn't work. And all the others other ones just standing here going, yeah, we've been trying to tell him this.
Just 20 minutes of Kylo being heckled by Force ghosts.
Yes.
You suck.
I want Force Ghost Luke to be like, everything you've been saying is wrong, and Anakin be like, yeah, everything your uncle says is correct, and I did this. I did this path that you're on, and it didn't work out so well for me. So why are you trying it?
Oh, that's great. I love that.
But that's not going to happen because, well, people have much better ideas than I do.
Yeah, the whole thing about Force Ghosts. Do you think we're going to see any Force Ghosts in this one?
Oh yeah, obviously.
Well, I think isn't Mark Hamill supposed to be back for?
Well, yeah,
Rise of Skywalker?
they've officially said that he's back. His voice has been in the trailer.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, unless there's something screwy with the Force going on, he's probably only going to be a ghost.
I'm a bit nervous about the role of Force ghosts now. I mean, to the extent that one can be nervous about something that might happen in a movie. But now that we've established in The Last Jedi that Force ghosts are able to affect the real world, right? With Yoda summoning lightning, blowing up the tree, Yoda bonking Luke on the head with his cane, and actually, hearing a sound when the cane hits, that Force ghosts can interact with the real world now, or the physical material world. They could play a much stronger role, or much more pivotal role, than just the sort of shimmery advisors we used to see them as in the prior iterations of Force ghosts. So
yeah,
if they took that too far, then you have these unbeatable guys that all seem to be on one side, unless you can have Sith Force ghosts too, which would be one way Palpatine comes back.
Well, okay, they established. I think George established that that Sith Force ghosts aren't a thing. And they can be tied to like the spirit of a Sith can be tied to certain things. Like when Yoda met up with Darth Bane on Corband or Morband, whichever name you want to use. Corband's the new Istanbul, I guess. But I can point to examples in, say, Star Wars: The Old Republic game where there are Sith Force ghosts, but who knows if that's actually going to fly in the general, Star Wars universe, or at least the canonical.
I suspect we're going to get a physical Palpatine, and as a payoff for all of that stuff about Darth Plagueis being able to cheat death and passing that on to his apprentice.
Well, there is a shot in the trailer that seems to me clearly showing a physical Emperor in a chair standing over Rey.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell with Force ghosts, though. But yeah, I do think he's going to be a real Palpatine.
Yeah, me too.
Another thing I'd like to point out is that in the original draft of Return of the Jedi, Obi-Wan and Yoda both physically returned as physical beings to help Luke fight the Emperor in his throne room, which at that time was on Coruscant, or I think they called it Had Abaddon at that point, and it was a throne room in a big lava pit. It was like a big underground lava pit, and they all fought the Emperor together.
Cool. We might have another guy joining the call, just to let you know. We'll see if we get in touch with him.
Is it a Force ghost?
It might be, actually.
Might be.
Yeah,
everybody talk now while you can, because it's your last chance.
Uh-oh.
Hey, what about some of these new characters that we saw in the trailer? So the latest trailer, the last one, just got released last week. We're doing this show on October 27th. The last trailer got released on October 21st. And this show is not about a breakdown of the trailer, but we did see some new characters. What do you guys think?
I'm not sure.
I am really excited to finally get to see the Knights of Ren, and I hope they actually do a good showing and that they don't just go out like punks. And I don't know what's going on with Kerry Russell's character, but I'm excited to meet her. Oh, and I'm really excited to meet Jana, because she looks really cool. I don't know whether she's Lando's daughter or not, but I have a Funko Pop figure of her at work, and it's like my favorite Funko Pop figure because she's got this great big afro and these goggles, and she's got a cape and a bowcaster. It's kind of like a bow and arrow kind of thing. She looks really cool.
Cool. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to add this fella to the call if he picks up. Because, again, this bar's all about community. What's the one you saw? We got a new poster that dropped as well, right? And this really cool looking. Hey,
Hello.
My God, is that
Hello.
Frisco's? This is our friend Mike Clark. How you doing, Mike? Mike,
Mike, are you there?
Mike.
Mike.
He works.
Use the force, Mike.
I think he said hello a second ago. He might be on mute.
Yeah, and it's funny because he works with computers. Okay. Okay, going to the poster itself. There is one, I don't know, criminal element, person to it, or like some sort of a fantastic like mask with the two different weapons in her hands. You know
Are you
what I'm
talking
talking
about Kerry Russell?
Yeah, is that the name?
Kerry Russell is the actress playing Zuri Bliss.
Yes, that's it. Sorry, I'm multitasking.
She kind of looks like Zam Wessel from Attack of the Clones. She has like a big helmet on her head that covers her face.
Oh, really? So, yeah, okay. It looks like Mike is ready to take his mute button off. Mike, please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Sorry, I took a wrong path down a different alley to another bar. And I realized something was fishy because I was at a place where the food was good.
Oh, nice. Hey. So, Mike, we are trying to keep this episode under an hour because Randal has to leave at the turn of the hour. We're about halfway through now. We're just trying to talk about the Rise of Skywalker. You're a fan. I've met you several times at different celebrations. I think this is the second time you've been on the SciFi Pubcast. What do you want from this new movie that's coming out in December?
I want a good wrap up to. I want a good standalone film. A good wrap up for the trilogy, so that we could look back on this trilogy and see, what was its purpose? Why does it add to the whole story that we've now got with 9 films instead of 6? Why does this extra 3 parts matter? But most importantly, I want to see a nice wrap up for the overall saga, all 9 parts. I want to see that this delivers something on that level. And what that is, I'll reserve judgment. There's a couple of things I'd like to see specifically, just little things, like little fun things for the fans that I'd like to see. But in general, reserve judgment till we see it and see if it delivers on that last one. That's a tall order.
So you were You were spying on the previous conversation we had, because Randal provided a similar answer to what you just said.
Perfect.
Yeah. So Mike, have you met Randal Graham before?
I have not, other than listening to your guys' episodes. I just know he always has very interesting choices in wines and such.
Oh, good.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
Nice to meet you too, Randal.
Have you bought his book yet? No.
No, but I drink plenty whenever I hear you guys mention it.
There we go. Beforelife drink. All right. So we're talking a bit about the Force. What else, you guys, want to talk about this the Rise of Skywalker? Because that trailer was amazing.
I am very excited about the hidden Imperial fleet that was mothballed away and is now being discovered. That's very cool to me. Of course, I don't know if it's an intentional callback, but the same thing happens in the original Thrawn trilogy from the 90s. They find this ancient mothballed fleet, and the Empire steals it, and the Republic gets to steal some of them, and that kind of changes the whole balance of power. So the thought of seeing old original trilogy era Star Destroyers, just hundreds or dozens of them, that's really cool. It's going to make for a pretty sweet space battle too, because we haven't had a proper space battle in this entire trilogy yet.
You're right, we haven't.
Yeah, it's all been atmospheric stuff.
I just said that Derek was right, and kill me now.
And slow speed chases across the galaxy until you run out of gas. We've had that.
Yeah, you could say perhaps the bombing sequence on the Dreadnought in the Last
You're
Jedi.
right. So the first 5 minutes of Last Jedi had a little one-on-one, but we've never seen a proper fleet battle, and that's what I want to see. I want to see hundreds of ships fighting each other like at the Battle of Endor.
Right. But you have this one picture which shows all these different ships, not just as the Star Destroyers. Do you think that's the one ship from the Ghost from Star Wars Rebels?
It could be.
I hope so.
Most-
Somebody
most
did
likely.
a super zoom in of the picture and showed that there was no one in the cockpit, but obviously they'll just like add things in later. I think the reason that they didn't have anybody in there was to avoid spoilers, because they didn't want to show Ahsoka being in there, because my assumption is that Ahsoka is going to be in the movie and she's the reason the Emperor was resurrected, because when she fought the Emperor in the World Between Worlds, he attacked her and tethered his spirit to her. So as long as Ahsoka survives, the Emperor survives, which is why she'll be central to defeating him, and she will have to sacrifice her life to ensure that he dies.
Okay, why do you think Ahsoka would be flying the Ghost when that's Hera's ship?
When that's who?
When that's the Ghost is Hera's ship.
Oh,
why
Hera.
would
Sorry,
Ahsoka
I have
be
a helmet
flying-
on. It's hard to hear.
Why would Ahsoka be flying the Ghost?
Because it would look cool. I mean, we don't know that Hera is still alive. We don't know how long. Oh God.
Twi'leks live?
Twi'leks. We don't know how long Twi'leks live. So.
As a guy who gets all of his Star Wars knowledge from the movies and only the movies, I'm just sitting here being really confused and enjoying Derek's helmet.
It's for his own protection, okay?
That's not a euphemism, by the way.
I know the story, Randall, but I'm right there with you. I'm thinking this stuff's gonna probably be contained to the films, other than maybe some like cameos for the fans that they know what it is, like the Ghost showing up there. They'll know what it is, but I doubt they'll expand on it. However, ever since Solo with Maul, I guess all bets are off potentially. So.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if a major plot point turned on something that you'd have to understand from a source other than film.
Yeah, I am of course joking about Ahsoka and the Emperor. That's just a joke. I don't actually mean that.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see her turn up as a bit of sort of fan service.
That would be cool. Anyone from Rebels turning up would be cool.
I don't know if you guys brought it up, but as far as fan service goes, that's one of the things I want. But it's not Ahsoka I want the Anakin Force Ghost. That's the one piece of fan service I would love to see.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about how I want a shot of Force Ghost Anakin giving Kylo Ren what for about everything. I did everything that you just did, that you've been doing, and it turned out really badly for me.
Yeah, you mean like the lecture from the grandpa?
Yes.
Or maybe just all.
Preferably for me, while the other Force Ghosts are just standing back and looking sternly and just nodding their heads and going, "Yeah, listen to him."
Or maybe we could have all the other Force Ghosts just throwing sand at Anakin Force Ghost.
I do think there's a very high chance that Hayden Christensen will be appearing as a Force Ghost. I would say it's about 75%. I would be surprised if it didn't happen.
I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah,
I would say that of course you're going to see Mark Hamill. We already know that. I would say it is all but certain that we will see Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan and Yoda, because they've already spoken to Rey in visions in The Force Awakens, so we already have that connection established. The one thing that would truly surprise me was if we saw Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon. That would be the one thing that I would not see coming. But I think Luke, Obi-Wan, and Yoda are guarantees, and Hayden is a very, very, very strong chance.
Do you think the whole thing's going to end in a big sort of yub-nub party at the end, and then we'll see all the ghosts hanging around? And
I would expect that, yeah.
Maybe.
Now, I think there was some statement from, who was it, Kevin Smith, that talked about that he was gonna go. He was on set and he was gonna go see the last. They were shooting, I guess, the last scene of the film, and JJ told him, no, you probably don't want to see that. That you want to wait until it's in the film because it's such a big deal. So give it whatever the last scene is. I have a feeling it's gonna have an emotional punch.
Yeah, he was talking about the setting, right? So by just walking to the set, you could tell how that saga was going to end. And Kevin Smith said it was going to melt your mind. So that's why I think JJ said that to Kevin Smith. And yeah. It's gonna be nice to see. I hope
Yeah,
this goes
that'll be
full circle.
One
Now,
thing that I
speaking of going
really
full
hope
circle,
we see
oh, sorry, go
is
ahead.
Coruscant.
Okay, Randall, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Well, just speaking of going full circle, I rewatched the trailer, and I think I saw what I was supposed to see and understood what I was supposed to be looking at. But all of those lightsaber battles duels between Kylo Ren and Rey on pieces of equipment in the water, are those supposed to be chunks of the original Death Star after it exploded, or maybe the second Death Star after it exploded and landed on Endor?
Yeah, so it's a second Death Star, but it's not Endor apparently. It's another moon around the planet.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a lot
I
of
mean,
fun.
I would have to assume that it's the Death Star too, and that the Emperor's spirit is somehow tied to the wreckage because that's where he died.
And all the Ewoks
Or did
died.
he?
Okay. Yeah, I'll just be happy there's some Ewoks. Maybe Force Ghosts.
I like
Ewoks again,
Ewoks.
you know.
Yeah.
Ewoks eating porgs.
That would be amazing.
We can do a cooking.
Or we have some
episode.
sort of turducken, right? Like a Wookiee stuffed with an Ewok stuffed with a porg.
Did you guys already cover your Palpatine theories as far as how you think he's coming back?
We touched
We
on
have
that.
a little
No.
bit.
Go ahead.
A little
Mike.
bit.
Hey, Mike, what's
Oh
your...
no, I don't have any particular interesting ones. I figure everyone was pushing against him coming back in the flesh originally, but I think after that trailer, everyone's got a better feeling that they think you're going to see him physically in some sense.
I think you have to for it to be satisfying, because if he's just like a flickering ghost or a hologram, I don't know, it's not really going to be dramatically satisfying as the big return of the big final villain that ties together all 9 movies.
Well, there's the Chekhov's gun theory of film production or of writing, right? That says if there's a gun in one scene, someone has to shoot it in the next scene. And the whole speech we have about Darth Plagueis being able to manipulate the Force to create life and cheat death and all that sort of business, I feel like at some point we have to come to a conclusion that Darth Sidious created Anakin Skywalker by manipulating the Force in Shmi's tum, convincing the midichlorians to create Anakin, and then he's used that same technique of cheating death to allow himself to somehow come back, or maybe survive, or be remanifested in some way. Because we need a bigger payoff for that whole speech to young Anakin Skywalker about the ability to cheat death and manipulate the Force to create life.
I'm in full agreement with that. That was one of the other Darth Plagueis aside, because I would love to have some references to at least his teachings or have him show up. That would be great. But I think closing the circle means going back to the first chapter in this linear story. The pieces they set there, the biggest thing was the virgin birth. I mean, the midichlorian birth and everything else. I think that's a perfect time to pay off that original story that started this whole Skywalker saga from episode 1 would be to do just that, bring those points back up that they talked about in 3 in the final chapter. I think that's a perfect story tie-in. I don't know if they'll go that way, but
Well, and it's it would answer the question about whether or not Anakin was an intentional result or not, because I mean I know it's Legends technically, but in Darth Plagueis I think they figured out that Anakin was a side effect.
It was
Yeah,
the Force
that's how it was.
reacting.
It was the
to
Force
Plagueis
reacting
and
to
Sidious trying to
something
take
Sidious
control.
and Plagueis were doing.
The Force took active action against what Plagueis and Sidious were doing together to try to manipulate the midichlorians and the Force to do just what Palpatine said in Revenge of the Sith.
So the question becomes: was Anakin's creation intentional by Sidious, or was that a side effect?
I don't even know
it
if
as
my own
irony.
creation was intentional.
What?
I don't even know if my own creation was intentional. I don't know if we can ever answer those questions.
I know the answer to that on mine, but we won't get into that. But no, I actually think I like the original concept with Plagueis, that it was something with that novel is my favorite Star Wars as far as total canon, Legends and current canon. That's my favorite still.
Yeah.
I think the concept, to me, irony-wise, is if the Sith were trying to achieve the immortality and trying to manipulate the Force like they were, but then the Force responded by creating the Chosen One. To me, it's irony because then the Sith were their own undoing by their own pursuit of power, which also fits with Anakin's whole, self-fulfilling prophecy and Revenge of the Sith. He ends up going down that power-hungry route to try to save Padme, ends up killing her. It's very fitting to kind of keep going in that way with the story from the good versus evil perspective. I don't know if they'll continue that route. I don't know if they'll instead say, Palpatine just created Anakin on purpose because he wanted his next most powerful Sith and, wanted to continue on. Maybe they'll do the X-Men Apocalypse thing. They wanted to transfer his essence into a younger, more stable, stronger body, or something like that.
He also did that in the Dark Empire comic, which is no longer canon.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't come up a lot in Star Wars, but I can point to several instances in, say, Star Trek where we discover that life prolongation doesn't really work out so well.
No, Randall can take part of this conversation now because we mentioned Star Trek. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, now I'm like, I'm an encyclopedia.
I did that partially for Randall's benefit.
Thank you very much.
Oh God,
much appreciated.
Yeah.
Low speculating.
So do you think we'll see Broom Boy again?
I don't know.
No, Ryan is planning that whole trilogy around him, remember?
Oh, I didn't know that. I hadn't heard this.
No, that's a joke. That's a joke.
That's all.
We don't know what Ryan Johnson trilogy is.
He's allegedly still making the movies. It kind of goes back and forth on whether that's still happening.
Well,
and Broom Boy will only be a year older for this film in the chronology because this is only a year after 8.
Yeah, I kind of wondered if they would pick up that thread though of the Force now, like with the notion that the Jedi should die and the Force isn't just for them. That more and more regular people will have access to it. If we're going to pick up on the basic theme that Broom Boy started to establish,
it could be. Yeah. It could be something akin to the finale, the Buffy finale, where the power of the Chosen One gets disseminated to everyone who could potentially be a Slayer, and this is what the Force has decided to do with its power from now on. Just give it to everyone who can possibly use it.
That's funny. That Buffy reference was the first thing that came to mind when I saw Broom Boy in the theater. I thought, oh, they did a Buffy.
Great.
We can also go the Matrix route, and we could just say, all right, so Rey is the next Chosen One, another Anakin version from the Force again, because the Sith weren't really destroyed. There's still Palpatine's still cheating death, so the Force tries again, and Rey's the next Chosen One, and that's the whole explanation for all her specialness that everybody was looking for. Well, I don't think they're going to do that, but I don't
think they're going to do that either. I also saw somewhere online a theory that Rey might be a Palpatine clone, and that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, a lot of people are buying into that clone theory just because of the little vision in the dark spot on Luke's planet where we saw lots and lots of images of Rey in sequence. And this was supposed to give us the notion that she was a clone, but I don't know if I buy into that theory. One thing I was hoping for with the final movie, and I don't know if this hope will be paid off at all, is some sort of re-explanation of Snoke that makes his whole arc less dumb. Maybe he was just a body inhabited by Palpatine or some sort of construct manipulated by Palpatine and not actually a real guy or something.
If there's a body inhabited, I want it to be Plagueis, but I know that's not going to happen either.
I think my prevailing theory at the moment is that Snoke was some kind of patsy for the Emperor.
I love that. I would really like to see that happen because the arc of Snoke, again, it was just one of those most unsatisfying things that I've ever bumped into in movies that I otherwise enjoyed. Like I did enjoy the past 2 movies, but that just sort of raised an eyebrow or two when we saw Snoke get snuffed.
Although, my number one question going out of Force Awakens was, who is Snoke? And my number one question going out of Last Jedi was still, who is Snoke?
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to see him at all? Flashback or something like that?
I don't know, because the canon novelization of Last Jedi gave you his internal thought process, so he definitely was not Plagueis or a clone or a puppet or anything like that. He was his own person. They didn't explain his origins, but they did, go into his thoughts and everything, so...
But Derek, we know novels aren't canon. Look, Owen's Obi-Wan's brother. Come on.
Do we know whether Dom Hall Gleason, Hux, is in the next movie?
I
yeah.
believe
Yes,
he
he
is.
is.
Yes, but
How many
I
times do you
haven't.
figure he'll get bounced off a wall in this one?
Oh, I don't know.
I think he and Kylo are going to have their falling out somewhere throughout this film, and he's going to actually take the reins over and be. I don't know if he'll be supreme leader, but I think at some point there's going to be like a mutiny or a falling out on the First Order as far as following Kylo, and Hux is going to be the one that everyone that he tries to wrestle power. I don't know if it'll be successful, but I think we're going to see something like that attempt to happen.
Unless that hidden Imperial fleet is actually an Imperial fleet and not part of the First Order, and the Imperials are trying to reassert their dominance over whatever it is they think, whatever it is the First Order thinks it's doing. I don't know.
Well,
It would be like a metaphor for a millennial smackdown or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Going after the Aftermath novels, it does seem to suggest that the Emperor was squirreling away spaceships in the immediate aftermath of Endor, and they were basically just, hiding all these until it was time to make his grand return, that he was laying low and letting the galaxy go to seed for a while, and then when the time was right, he would come back with this massive fleet of ships with his, best and brightest troopers and all that sort of thing.
And
So
yeah, they were
my
hiding out in
assumption
the
would
nebulas.
be that they're either empty or controlled by secret hiding Imperial people.
This whole Jesus Christ thing is just throwing me for a loop because we've had this kind of flavor, in terms of Anakin Skywalker, in terms of Rey. Now perhaps the Emperor, he's going to come back from the dead. That puts things on its head, right?
Well, it's a Christmas release.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And it's his rise of Skywalker. In one of the translations, it was like something that translated into resurrection. So one of the language translations for the title. So it would be interesting if and that's a good question too. Is what does the title refer to? Is it refer to Ben Solo? Does it refer to Anakin? Does it refer to some nebulous concept of what a Skywalker is?
Does it refer to the Skywalker family in general? Does it refer to something Palpatine has been cooking up this entire time? Is Palpatine like Batman, always having a plan for everything?
Or just a mountain that they name after Luke at the end. Oh, this is the Rise of Skywalker.
Another big theory is that Rey is going to create a new order, but call them Skywalkers and not Jedi.
Well, Randal had the clone idea, though. So here's the thing, too. I always was wondering, as much as cloning technology was such a big deal. Now, granted, I think Plagueis novel took away the midichlorian concept with cloning Jedi and getting more and more powerful. But I was thinking, if he had access to Anakin for 19 years as Vader, he had access to that DNA. He could have been growing lots of Anakin clones in vats or whatever else if he wanted to.
That is true. I didn't play the game, but I did read the Force Unleashed novels, and they were talking about how hard it was to clone someone who was Force sensitive and keep their power. Yeah, so I don't know how much that would figure into something.
It could be why we see only one Rey.
Exactly.
Instead of dozens of them, because only one was successful, perhaps.
Yeah.
You mean Dark Rey is not a clone?
I expect that Dark Rey is a vision.
That's what I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the theories out there were great.
Okay, guys, what about this? Who do you think is going to stay alive during this film, and who's going to die? Because we know, from the trailer, it doesn't look good for 3CPO.
My vote is 3PO, R2, and the Falcon are all going kablooey before the end of the movie.
I think that Kylo Ren has to die because he killed Han Solo and he caused the death of Luke Skywalker, and there's no redemption from that. He has to pay with his life. If he does it, with a single good deed at the end, a la Vader, that's fine. But I think no matter what, he has to die. He doesn't get to be forgiven. He doesn't get to walk away from it.
Keri?
Do you think Chewie survives?
Yes. Because Chewie is someone you can just stick in a fursuit, so you can use him for future movies forever and ever and ever.
Even with the loss of Peter Mayhew.
Yeah.
We're not going to drop a moon on Chewie this time.
Now, Randall, before you have to go, could we get your opinion on Reylo and Ben Demption? Do you think that Kylo should die? Do you think that Rey should fall in love with him? What's your opinion on that?
I don't care if they fall in love. That's a cute little story hook. One thing that I've wondered about is the long-standing theory that's been going around forever that on some level Kylo has actually been good the whole time, and that even actions like killing his dad have been things that he's undertaken in order to somehow flush out the Emperor and get close to the actual core of where the dark side is, and that his redemption is like he doesn't even have to be redeemed. He's sort of been a sleeper agent for good the whole time, but he's done some pretty awful stuff. That for me, that theory falls apart. Trying desperately to blow Luke up, being so angry when he didn't succeed in blowing Luke up, trying to convince Rey to embrace dark. That theory's been out there for a long time, but I just don't buy that. So I do have to say, as much as it pains me, that I agree with the helmeted one that Kylo's got to die. And I do think that if we're going to be true to the overall arc of Star Wars, that for it to be emotionally satisfying, he will die in a way that is ultimately redemptive in and of itself. So he will sacrifice himself in the end to save the light. That's my guess. And then we can have his Force Ghost throwing sand at Anakin.
Amazing. All right. We should probably wrap the show up, I would think. Keep it nice.
Did you say show?
Show, yeah. Episode.
Okay. We're ending with 50?
Yeah. 50. Episode 50. This is very exciting. 50,
it's amazing. So any last thoughts about the Rise of Skywalker? Let's go with Randall first.
I think it's going to be good. I think I'm going to be happy. I don't think that it's going to be as rationally tied together as I would hope, but I don't know that that's even possible with something that is such a massive arc of so many movies and storylines. But I do think that I'm going to walk out of the theater feeling satisfied. That could just be the optimist in me, but that's what I'm going with.
Okay. How about Mike? What's your last take?
Well, I think the movie's going to outdraw Last Jedi. Not sure if it's going to beat out Force Awakens on box office. I do think it'll try to do some kind of wrap-up. Not sure how successful. I don't think everybody's getting out of this safely. I do think that when it comes to the Force, they're going to do something potentially risky, and I do think it's going to potentially be maybe not as divisive as Last Jedi, but I think this film's still going to, I don't think it's going to bring everybody together. I think it's going to leave a mark, and people are going to like it or they're going to hate it.
They could really divide the people up by having the whole thing end with an attempt to impeach Palpatine.
Or he just wins outright. I guess they could go that way too. Or everybody dies. We've already had Rogue One.
Or he just wins even though he doesn't get the popular vote.
That's right.
Right.
Okay, Keri, what's your last take on this?
I'm just hoping for a good movie, and I don't know. I'm not even trying to think about who's going to live and die. I will probably end up being something along the lines of when, it's like the moment I knew Han Solo they were going to kill Han in TFA. It's just like, oh, they're really going to go there. Oh crap.
That's fair. Derek, your last take.
I am really excited for this movie. I think it's going to be really great. I think JJ is going to deliver a satisfying ending. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to have lots of big, amazing action scenes. The one big question for me is the Reylo Bendemption thing, because if Reylo falls in love with him, I'm going to be pretty pissed off given what he did to her in the first movie and what he did to Han and Luke. So that's kind of the one big question for me, because there's some people who are really, really pro Reylo, and if that doesn't go their way, they're going to be pretty mad. So I think in that respect, you're going to piss off a certain core of the audience because you have to pick one side, and there's two sides with diametrically opposed viewpoints on it. So that's kind of the big question for me, where that goes. But I cannot wait to see the Emperor again. He and Yoda are my two favorite characters, so having him back as the final villain of the sequel trilogy is amazing for me.
Cool. I know my take is I want to learn more about the Force, how the Force operates. And I think this movie is going to expand on that, what we know to date. It's
Yep,
kind of
I think
like
so.
a religious viewpoint, a philosophical viewpoint. What is the Force, and how is it changing? So that's my last take.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Okay.
Well, congratulations on 50 episodes, everyone.
That's great.
Yeah,
We
thank
survived.
you.
Yes, 5-0. Amazing.
And the Ewoks haven't eaten Derek yet.
Would you?
I would eat. I would eat him, but
Okay.
the Ewoks aren't as picky as I am. Although they still won't go near the kitchen.
Great. Yes, you can join this community if you want. We have a Discord community out there. Check out our social media for invites, so you can hang with Derek and the Ewoks, apparently. So social media. We're experimenting with YouTube, as we said earlier in the show. We can also be found on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I do the Twitter and Instagram, whereas my friend Derek does the Facebook. Hey, Derek, you're doing a great job with that.
Thank you.
There you go. We can be found on Twitter at SciFi Pubcast. You can email us at management@scifipubcast.space. All right, let's go with this way. Randal, what is your Twitter address?
At Randal_Graham.
Okay. Mike, you want to put out your Twitter address? It's up to you, man.
I have one, but I really actually don't tweet anything. I don't think I've ever sent one. So you can just find me on the Discord communities. I hang out on the SciFi Pubcast Discord under the name Erasure.
Excellent. Great plug. Plug away. Keri, where can people find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Keri Blackfire42. That's Keri Blackfire42.
And Derek, what's yours?
I'm at Derek J. Beebe.
And I'm at Joel_Welch. Please, if you're in the mood, please leave us a positive review on iTunes / Apple Podcasts / Google Play. It helps others out there from the fan community find our show. And we want to grow our community. It's closing time, folks. Thanks for everything. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Make it home safe. Bye now.
May the Force be with you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Music provided courtesy of Logan Rathbone. Podcast logo by Jea Rhea. Copyrighted Joel Welch. Listen responsibly, and we can't wait for your next visit to our fine establishment. Cheers.